remember God working in this church from the time I was very young.
God has always been faithful to this church.
My name is David Agnew. I'm part of the Baptist Church since 1928. That's 95 years.
I've been a part of this church family since 1942, the year I was born, and I think my mom and dad brought me as a baby to First Baptist. I remember, being in, I certainly don't remember the nursery, but I remember, the toddler groups and on up to first grade and through high school. I had many mentors in high school. Our youth group leaders were Louise and Bob Bray, and they had just had a baby. Bob Bray Jr. might have been the third, but anyway, they were lovely, really great youth leaders with our teenagers. And I remember Grandma Brand, whose real name was May Brand, and she would have us help her in the nursery. The teenage girls, we would take turns helping with the babies, and for that, she would pay for our trip to Camp Burton in the summer. Each one of us would have that paid for by Grandma Brand.
We had missionary church, one out at Marietta and one at on Victor Street. I can't think of the name of it right now. Mm-hmm. And we had very strong vacation Bible school. We went with the other Baptist church, the Swedish Baptist church. We had Sunday school. We had a lot of kids there. Yeah. The other Baptist church was the Emmanuel Baptist Church. It was over on Victor Street. Well, the old church was a kind of a magnificent church. It came in two parts. The first part of the church was the sanctuary, but they didn't have any educational room until later on they built the back addition to it. The stairs were very steep. It was built on a hill, and the social room had a big sliding door that went into the sanctuary, so if we got an overflow, they could open that door to get more people there. And special days like Easter and so forth, we always had that open. The baptistry was underneath the floor of where the choir was. The church was built on the lumber that was sawed down there on the waterfront. Big wide boards. I was up in the attic and was looking at that, and it was a shame that they didn't salvage all that beautiful wood, but they just smashed it all up and took it over a few lots away and burned it all.
God has always been faithful to this church, and thinking way back, my first memory would be like the mid-60s or so, and thinking back over the past 50, 60 years, God has always used the talent that's here at the time. And for instance, when we had John and Jan Sinkovich, we heard organ music. When Pastor Madsen was here, he was a writer, so we did a lot of plays. In fact, my child played Jesus when she was 6 months old in one of his plays. When I was young and a teenager, Russell Hendrickson and his wife Marty were our pastors. And his talent was taking people on the bus somewhere. So we went places. We took the mission field out with us. And we got the chance to go to Green Lake and camps together. It created relationships when I was a kid that continue, like Sherry Martin and some of the people that have been faithful. So, and certainly it's been such a blessing since you've been here. The music, it's just been wonderful. And the intergenerational approach, that comes around from time to time. And that's part of what's kept me here always, is seeing God's hand at work. He meets our needs at the time, what they are. There have been times when this church has been full, people in every pew, and we've spent time over the years taking care of each other. We've had people with special needs in the church, people living through hard times, and God led us to help them. And then there have been times when we've been smaller and the need has been outside our church, and we've been able to greet the neighborhood. So it's just been so exciting to see. And one of the things I wanted to share about, because I don't remember it happening before or since, when I was a little kid, like 7, 8, 9, this church used to have an exchange with Mount Zion Baptist in Seattle, an all-black church. And so every other summer, a few of us got to go down there and stay with families in Mount Zion, and in between they'd come here. And I had never been in an all-black church before as a little kid, all black. And what I remember was that it was loud and joyous, and the kids got to eat candy during church. But when they came to see us, it was similar, because it was inner Seattle, black neighborhood. They had never seen, my sister was a towhead blonde. They were fascinated. And it just, unfortunately at the time, things got pretty contentious in the late 60s, and they stopped that exchange. But later, I think in the 70s or 80s, we actually started a Sunday night Black gospel service. So this church has always been open to where God leads us, where He takes us, and it's just been joyous and exciting to see that even when there's just a few people in the pews, the heart is full.
I think God is working in our church these days. I feel it so much with the community of people. Every Sunday, I think we have a strong nucleus of people that care about each other and care about the new person that's here. And I love the way you and Bethany work with the community, for the art walk. And I think we do quite a few things that affect the area.
Well, I think that just going to church is only part of it. I think you need to be involved in Bible studies and any service that you can have, because that was always strong in our church. If you just listen to the service, unless you do something to back that up, the way you live and so forth, it doesn't last very long.
Every single person has something they can do and can contribute. Even those of us who feel, I don't have talent, I'm the toenail on the foot. Yeah, we do, because if you've ever lost a toenail, that makes it really hard to walk. You preached it. We need to hear it over and over again, that every single one of us has a role that nobody else can fill. And that's how God moves in our church, is through each of us. Even if it's just sitting and being quiet and listening, and then when your moment comes, you raise your hand.